Shalom and welcome. So many today speak of morning routines, of hacking your biology with cold plunges and bio-optimized coffee. They promise you productivity, efficiency, a competitive edge. They are selling you a faster horse in a world that now has cars. They teach you how to start your day by doing more, faster. But what if the secret to true, lasting abundance isn't found in doing, but in recognizing? Everyone talks about the idea of morning blessings, but almost no one shows you how to actually say them, to feel them, to let them rewire the very foundation of your reality. That is what we will do together today. By the end of our time together, you will have the complete practice that transformed my mornings from a frantic rush to acquire into a quiet ritual of recognition. You will have the ancient Hebrew, the clear pronunciation, the deep meaning, and a simple guide to make this a life-changing habit in just 7 days. Let's begin with the foundation. Why do these ancient words hold such power? In our modern world, we worship data. So let us look at the data. Modern neuroscience, through studies at esteemed institutions like UCLA and Harvard, has confirmed what our sages have known for millennia. The practice of gratitude physically rewires your brain. It strengthens neural pathways associated with well-being, resilience, and optimism. Starting your day by articulating what you are grateful for isn't just a nice sentiment. It is a cognitive training exercise. It primes your mind to see opportunities where it once saw obstacles, to find resources where it once saw scarcity. I spent the first 30 years of my career in the trenches of business. I built, I sold, I acquired. I learned the language of the deal, the rhythm of the market, and I achieved what the world calls success. But I learned a hard lesson that King Solomon, the namesake of my own journey, understood so well. True wealth, the kind that sustains the soul, begins with recognition, not acquisition. I had built a magnificent house, but I had forgotten to install any windows. I had everything, yet I saw nothing. These blessings were the tools I used to build the windows, and the light that came flooding and changed everything. Are you building a life based on what you can get, or on what you can? See, this is not merely a psychological trick. In our tradition, sleep is considered 1/60th of death. Each morning, when you open your eyes, your soul, your neshama, has returned to your body. It is a miniature resurrection. The morning blessings, the Birkat HaShaker, are the soul's first words upon its return. They are a sequence that gracefully follows the process of awakening, moving your consciousness from the blur of sleep to the full, crisp awareness of being alive, embodied, and ready for your mission. This is the act of opening the channel. By recognizing the blessings already present, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. Now that we understand the why, let's turn to the where and the how. There's a misconception that sacred acts require sacred spaces, that you need the stained glass and ancient stones of a synagogue to connect with the infinite. This is a profound misunderstanding. It is the intention that consecrates the space, not the other way around. You do not need a synagogue. You need 5 minutes and a quiet corner. You need to create an island of intention in the ocean of your morning routine. Here's my setup, and it has served me for decades. In humble apartments and in sprawling homes, a small table. On it, a single candle. The flame is not for light, but for focus, a living, breathing reminder of the inner light we are about to acknowledge. I have a printed guide with the blessings, which you will be able to download. That is all. The mystics teach us to face east, toward Jerusalem, the heart center of our people's story. If you can, it adds a beautiful layer of connection. But let me be clear, your intention matters infinitely more than your direction. The compass of the heart is the only one that truly guides this practice. Two concepts from our tradition are essential here: kava and kavana. Kava means a fixed, consistent routine. Kavana means sincere intention and heartfelt direction. Think of it this way: kava is the sturdy vessel, the beautiful cup you set out each morning. Kavana is the living water you pour into it. Without kava, without the consistent practice, your kavana scatters like water poured onto the ground. It has no container. But without kavana, your kava is just an empty cup, a beautiful but useless ritual. The goal is to unite them. The consistent time and place the kava trains your mind and body. It creates a psychological trigger. When you sit in your chair, in your corner, your whole being begins to understand. It is time to be present. I once mentored a young woman, a brilliant entrepreneur who was also the mother of 3 young children. Her home was a whirlwind of beautiful, chaotic energy. Solomon, she told me, I don't have a quiet corner. I don't even have a quiet minute. I told her, your car. Before you walk into your office, before the world can lay its claim on you, take 5 minutes in your car. That is your synagogue. She started with 1 blessing, then 3. That 5-minute car synagogue became the anchor of her day. It was the eye of her storm. It was where she remembered who she was before she became what she did. And from that small island of peace, she rebuilt her entire world. Where is the one corner of your life, no matter how small, that you can dedicate to quiet recognition? And now, we arrive at the heart of the matter, the blessings themselves. I will guide you through the first 3, which represent the initial stirring of consciousness. As we go, you will see the Hebrew text on the screen, along with a simple phonetic guide. Please, do not be intimidated by the Hebrew. The goal is not perfect pronunciation, it is perfect presence. Your intention is the language that God understands. Best, follow along, and let the sounds resonate within you. The very first blessing acknowledges the dawn of consciousness itself. We say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Hanotain Lasechvi Vinal Havchin Binyam Uvain Layla. On the surface, this seems a simple, agrarian blessing, but the sages saw deeper. The rooster is a symbol for the human mind, for our intellect. This is a blessing for the gift of discernment, the ability to distinguish light from darkness, truth from falsehood, a wise investment from a foolish one, a life-giving path from a destructive one. All wisdom, all success in life and in business begins with this foundational ability to make distinctions. I remember, many years ago, I was on the verge of a partnership. The deal looked perfect on paper. The numbers were flawless. The projections were astronomical. Everyone in my circle said, you must do this. But as the day to sign approached, a quiet alarm began to sound within me, a persistent feeling of unease. It was my inner sekvi, my inner rooster, crowing a warning that the approaching dawn was a false one. I listened to that quiet voice. I backed out of the deal. My advisors thought I was a fool. 6 months later, the other company imploded in a storm of fraud and scandal that would have taken my own firm down with it. That day, I learned that the quiet voice of discernment is the greatest asset I will ever possess. What is your inner rooster trying to tell you that the noise of the world is drowning out? The second blessing is Shiasani Yisrael. This is not a declaration of superiority, but of specific responsibility. It is an acknowledgement of the particular spiritual inheritance and path we have been given. The third is Pokach. Ivrim, we awaken physically blind, our eyes sealed by sleep. This blessing thanks God for the simple, miraculous gift of sight. But on a deeper level, it is a prayer to have our inner eyes opened, to see the opportunities, the beauty, and the holiness that we are so often blind to in our daily rush. Today, practice seeing one thing you have previously overlooked, the dedication of a colleague, an opportunity for kindness, or a simple moment of beauty. As our consciousness continues to unfold, we move from the general awareness of awakening to the specific awareness of our own identity. The next 3 blessings are traditionally known as the blessings of identity. They can be challenging for the modern ear, so it is vital we approach them with the understanding they deserve. They are not statements of exclusion, but of gratitude for one's specific path and purpose. The 4th blessing is Sheloasani. Aved. In ancient times, this was a literal blessing of freedom, but its meaning today is perhaps even more profound. How many of us are slaves, not to a master with a whip, but to a master of our own making? A slave to the stock market ticker, our mood rising and falling with its fluctuations. A slave to our email inbox, its endless demands dictating the rhythm of our day. A slave to the opinions of others, twisting ourselves into knots to win the approval of people we may not even respect. For years, I was a slave. I was shackled to my ambition. My sense of self-worth was directly tied to my net worth. I thought the accumulation of wealth would lead to freedom, but I was merely forging stronger, more gilded chains. The day I realized that I was my own taskmaster, that I was living in a prison with an unlocked door, was the day my journey to true abundance began. This blessing became my daily declaration of spiritual independence. The Musar tradition, our great ethical and psychological school of thought, speaks of the Yetzer Hara, the powerful inner inclination towards ego, chaos, and separation. Much of our most important inner work is freeing ourselves from its tyranny. When we say Shelo Asani Aved, we are arming ourselves for this very struggle. We are reminding ourselves that our essential nature is one of freedom. As a practical exercise, I want you to identify one master in your life. It could be your phone, your anxieties about the future, your need for approval. For just 1 hour today, make a conscious choice to be free from its influence. Turn off the phone, sit with the anxiety without obeying it. Perform an act without seeking validation. Feel what that freedom is like. To what are you a slave? And what would your first step toward freedom look like today? The next two blessings are Shelo Asani Isha for men, and the corresponding Shiasani Kurtzono for women. Historically, the male blessing was an expression of gratitude for being obligated in more of the time-bound commandments. The essential insight for us today, in both formulations, is gratitude for the specific body, gender, and soul mission we have been given. It is about embracing our unique design and the particular challenges and opportunities that come with it, rather than wishing we were someone else. Having affirmed our consciousness and our identity, we now turn to the physical vessel that houses them, our body. The process of getting ready for the day becomes a sacred act of preparation for our mission in the world. The seventh blessing is Malbish Rumim. Each morning, as we emerge from our beds, we are, in a sense, naked, vulnerable, unadorned. The act of dressing is the first step in preparing ourselves to engage with the world. But this blessing invites us to see it as something far deeper than simply putting on fabrics. To clothe oneself is to assume a mantle of dignity. It is to cover our vulnerability with purpose and self-respect. In the world of business, your clothing is your integrity. It is your reputation. It is the aura of trustworthiness you wear into every meeting, every negotiation. You can have the finest suit, but if you are spiritually naked, if you lack integrity, people will see right through it. I remember a brilliant young man I was mentoring. He had ideas that could change industries, but he was crippled by a deep-seated insecurity. He would come to important meetings in rumpled clothes, as if to say, "Don't look at me. My ideas aren't really that valuable." And so, his ideas were consistently dismissed. We spent no time on his business pitches. We spent a month on this blessing. I asked him, each morning, to choose his clothes with the intention of honoring the brilliant mind and worthy soul they were covering, to dress himself in the dignity his ideas deserved. His transformation was astonishing. He began to stand straighter, to speak with more authority. His professional life turned around, not because his ideas got better, but because he finally embodied their worth. Following this, we recite the eighth blessing, which we touched on earlier, but deserves its own focus in the sequence, Pokachivrim. This is the second stage of sight. The first was the physical opening of our eyes. This is the metaphysical opening. The Kabbalists, our great mystics, teach that the world is saturated with divine light, with wisdom, with solutions, with opportunities. But we are often blind to it, our vision clouded by fear, by ego, by preconceived notions. This blessing is a daily plea to have our spiritual vision cleared. It is asking the Creator to help us see what is already there, right in front of us. The hidden opportunity in a market downturn, the potential for connection in a difficult conversation, the elegant solution to a problem that seems impossibly complex. Here is a practical way to live this blessing. The next time you face a challenge, at work or at home, resist the immediate urge to figure it out. Instead, take a quiet moment, close your eyes, silently recite this intention. Help me to see what is already here. Then open your eyes and look at the situation again, as if for the first time. You will be amazed at what was hiding in plain sight. What opportunity for growth, connection, or wealth might be right in front of you, waiting for you to truly see it. Now, we are awake, we are aware of our identity, we are clothed in dignity, and our eyes are open to possibility. The final blessings in this course sequence give us the physical and spiritual strength to stand tall and engage with the world. The ninth blessing is Zakif Kefufim. Life bends us. There is no escaping this truth. The weight of responsibility, the sting of disappointment, the ache of failure, these forces press down on us, causing us to stoop, both physically and spiritually. Think of how your body language changes when you feel defeated. Your shoulders slump, your spine curves, your eyes fall to the ground. This blessing is a powerful acknowledgement of the divine force of resilience that exists within us. It is the recognition of that inner power that allows us to stand tall again after being brought low. I will never forget the period after my first major business failed. I had poured my entire being into it, and its collapse felt like a personal judgment on my very worth. I felt physically bent. Walking down the street, I found myself studying the cracks in the pavement, unable to meet the gaze of the world. I had lost millions of dollars, but the more devastating loss was that of my posture, my confidence. A wise teacher urged me to focus on this one blessing. Each morning, I would say the words Zakif Kefufim, and as I said them, I would consciously, physically, straighten my spine. I would pull my shoulders back and lift my chin. It felt artificial at first, an act, but slowly the outer action began to reshape my inner reality. It was a daily, embodied reminder that I was not defined by my fall. I was defined by my ability to get back up. This leads us to the 10th and final blessing of this immediate awakening sequence. Hanotain Life Coach. This is the final, crucial step. We are standing tall, ready to face the day. But readiness is not enough. We need fuel for the journey. We need strength, Coach. This blessing is the bridge from recognition to creation. It acknowledges that the energy we need to build, to love, to serve, and to create wealth does not ultimately originate with us. We are channels for it. True, sustainable success does not come from sheer willpower, which is a finite resource that quickly leads to burnout. It comes from connecting to a source of strength that is infinite. Think of your personal energy as your most precious and fundamental asset, more valuable than your time, more valuable than your money. Before you spend it on any task, any meeting, any worry, you can use this blessing as a filter. Ask yourself, is this a worthy investment of the strength I have been given? This simple question will help you stop giving your power away to things that leave you weary, for no spiritual return. Are you merely spending your strength, or are you investing it? We have journeyed through the blessings themselves, but wisdom is useless until it is integrated into the fabric of a life. The most beautiful blueprint is just a piece of paper until the foundation is poured. So let us speak about the practical architecture of building this habit. A common refrain I hear is, Solomon, I don't have time. This is a fallacy. We all have the same 24 hours. The question is not about time, but about priority. However, the path to making this a priority is paved with flexibility. You do not need to start with all 10 blessings. If you have just 5 minutes, pick 3 that resonate most deeply with you. Perhaps Pokat Shavrim because you are seeking clarity, or Zakif Kefufim because you are feeling discouraged. Write them on a small card and place it by your bed. 10 minutes. You can say all 10 with a deep, cleansing breath between each. 20 minutes. Now you can add a few moments of silent reflection or journaling on the meaning of one of the blessings. Start where you are, not where you think you should be. The other great stumbling block is the voice of the ego, the inner cynic. It will tell you that you feel silly, that you are a modern, rational person muttering ancient words in a quiet room. I know this voice intimately. When I first began this practice, my ego, the part of me that was the proud dealmaker, rebelled. It felt foolish. I would miss a day, and the voice would say, see, it doesn't work. You're not consistent. This isn't for you. It was the wisdom of the great Maimonides that gave me the strength to persevere. He taught that character is not a fixed trait, but is an outcome formed by the constant repetition of our actions. I realized I wasn't just saying words with each session. I was performing an act of spiritual resistance against my own cynicism. I was carving a new neural pathway in my brain, a pathway of gratitude and presence. This is why the Jewish principle of Lo Alecha Hamlacha Ligmor is so vital. It translates to, it is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it. You do not have to be perfect. Missing a day is not a failure. Forgetting a blessing is not a sin. The entire practice is contained in the act of returning, of starting again the next morning. Your commitment is measured not by its perfection, but by its persistence. If you treated your inner peace with the same seriousness and dedication as your financial portfolio, what would you do differently tomorrow morning? We have laid the foundation, we have explored the blessings, and we have discussed the practical steps of integration. Now, I want to give you a tool to help you build this new architecture of abundance in your life. In the description below, you will find a link to download a free 30-day tracker. Please do not see this as another task on your to-do list. See it as an architect's blueprint. It is a way for you to consciously and intentionally observe the construction of your new inner world. Each day, simply track which blessings you said. More importantly, write down 1 or 2 words about how you felt afterward. Calm, focused, anxious, hopeful. There is no right answer. This is data. You are becoming the chief scientist of your own soul. And note any moment of abundance you notice during the day, not just financial, but a moment of connection, a creative insight, an unexpected solution. After 30 days of this gentle observation, you will have a tangible record of how this practice has begun to rewire your perception. This isn't about becoming religious, it's about becoming intentional. So here is my invitation to you. Try this complete practice for just 7 days. Begin with 3 blessings, or begin with all 10. Use the tracker. See what happens. Then, come back to this video and comment below with the one blessing that resonated most powerfully with you. Your experience will inspire others. We began with a simple premise that the world tells you to start your day by doing, while timeless wisdom tells you to start your day by recognizing. The way of doing, of frantic acquisition, is a shallow well. It may quench your thirst for a time, but it soon runs dry, leaving you burnt out and spiritually empty. The way of recognition is an infinite spring. The more you draw from it, the more it fills. At 70 years of age, I can tell you that the material wealth I have is a pleasant byproduct, not the goal. My true wealth is the unshakable peace I feel when I wake, the clarity with which I see the world, and the strength I am given to contribute what I can. This simple morning practice is the bedrock upon which all of that is built. If this guide has helped you find a way to actually implement these powerful ancient practices, I hope you will subscribe for more practical Jewish wisdom for a life of meaning and abundance. Download your free tracker and the Hebrew pronunciation guide from the link in the description. And always remember the deepest truth. True abundance starts with recognition, not acquisition.